expectations are high when it comes to everything that we get up to in the industry, and I think we've proved that ongoingly. And recently, no, I don't know when it was. It was just after
Bacardi.
Bacardi Holiday Club, the event.
Okay.
So, one of the directors, Zika Zabakadi Holiday Club, Tools, put something on his story. And you know me, I like to read. So I'm going to read this, and you've seen it as well, but I just want to capture his words straight from him. It's long, this thing, this story.
Uzofunda le nto
I'm
yonke.
gonna I'm
Izoqeda
gonna
izoqeda izoqeda
time.
i-session hayi. Bayazi abantu.
I don't think everybody knows it because I don't think everyone. Well, we can
Bayazi.
give them. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to. So, Tools is one of the directors of one of the people that host Bacardi Holiday Club. Put on his story, DOA, Death of Amapiano. So he says, after almost 12 years in the events industry, I've dealt with all kinds of artists, from global superstars to rising local talents. I've learned to I've learned to expect last minute challenges, but one thing I cannot wrap my head around is the sheer lack of professionalism from so many Amapiano acts. This past weekend, I worked on Holiday Club, and as usual, I dealt with the same frustrating patterns. One artist trying to move their set time just 2 hours before they were scheduled to perform. Can I play tomorrow instead? Absolutely not. Another artist arrived a full 30 minutes into their set, leaving me and my team scrambling. This isn't an isolated incident. I'd estimate that 80% of the time I book a piano act, they are late. It's become so ridiculous that in our team, we literally place bets on which artist will be the latest. And it's not just tardiness. Some acts have missed entire shows. Two separate artists from the same agency simply never showed up. The root of the problem? Question mark. Overbooking and mismanagement. Piano artists are taking too many gigs a day, then inevitably show up late or exhausted for all of them. It's pure gluttony. I completely agree. On top of that, their teams, who are often made up of friends and family, aren't equipped to handle artists' logistics at this level. It's a recipe for disaster. What's baffling is that this isn't universal. At Holiday Club, both Dench and Fazo RT were on time. And Baz, do you have Baz? And Baz. Major League Bunnies and Mandisa, I guess Mandisa's Deben Gogo, have been always reliable. So when people question why the same names keep appearing on festival lineup, here's the answer. They actually take their jobs seriously. I've even heard horror stories of piano acts liberally missing their flights for international gigs. At this rate, I won't be surprised when some of these artists are broke and washed up in a few years. The Amapiano wave won't last forever. When the bookings slow down, only the professionals will be standing. I love piano. I love the impact it's had and how it's grown African dance culture worldwide. But for F's sakes, get it together, guys. And it was so interesting for me to read this because I was at a wedding with a friend of mine, and I was speaking to a journalist. I think she's a journalist on Sun World, I think. And I had said the exact same thing. My thing, when I said to her, I was like, and at the time we are talking about Makadzi and Gabza this. I was like, the problem is this. Entertainers as a whole lack professionalism, and then I proceeded to say, especially piano artists. Now to find that literally weeks after I read this, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is it's something we all are aware of. But here's the trick to this, right? All of the stuff that he's mentioned, he's talking about it from the inside perspective. Do you get me? Not from like the outside perspective, which is the consumer's perspective. Does the consumer care? Is the question mark, first of all. Does the consumer even realize that Mang Mang is late, or Mang Mang hasn't appeared for the show when they are so drunk it doesn't even matter anymore? Number two. Number three, who really makes the piano? Who really makes the piano? Who is the consumer? And internally versus externally, where does the conversation begin to matter? Because some of them may be like, hey, as long as they still buying my music, certain bookings, I don't care for them, which is complete and utter unprofessionalism. But there's a lot of opinions that can go around when it comes to that. I don't think it will be the death of Amapiano, but it is in fact, I guess, a highlight to the level of unprofessionalism that exists in the entertainment industry by artists, especially, I guess, Amapiano artists.
Yeah, I have a problem with his heading.
With his heading, death of
Yeah.
Amapiano.
Yes.
Same, it's called sensationalism. Yeah.
Yeah. When a social media, it allows
Yeah.
us to express our feelings towards. Cause if fun fact, if I went into the comments, right, because it was on this Mzansi page, Mzansi
Oh,
what
is
was.
it?
So
Okay.
so so like everyone was commenting, but the top 6 comments, guess all those people are your friends. Skin deep, abo, bulelo, what's good. So all these guys that we've interacted, that we work with, that are not, maybe some of them, a majority of them are not guys that play amapiano or have never been excited about the change the genre brought, which is what I didn't like about the heading, because it gave those people now time to trend and also speak on this thing, whereas this is a universal problem. It is a universal problem. Even in deep house, even in
Yeah, it's
Tegetleke,
entertainers. Yeah.
entertainers have a problem. So are we attacking the genre? Because Njelik responded to this and said, "Yeah, when lento ukuthi ubhuka abangani bakho." But
Is he
lapho-
wrong though?
I don't want not
Hey.
asifuna abantu aba-affiliated nathi bangabhukwa eBacardi because I said something,
Yeah.
but essentially la bantu ababhukile, kunalento ukuthi you've ran side sessions, right? Yakhumbula, like your side sessions, shows like the party, right? I call it the party. So if ngikujwayele, whatever you say to me, you know this. If like, usai, ish,
Usayi uzawuthini kuba right. Yeah,
yes, man.
ngeza.
So utools lento ekhulumayo. To what extent bamjwayele, to
I
what
I agree.
extent? Because sometimes siyahlekisana, senza ama-jokes, hey, high five, abantwana siyazelana, and that takes away from
The
the
professionalism.
professionalism. Because ngikujwayele awuzokwenzani, sebengibhadele anyway, hayi ngizoyenzani, cancela ntwana. But if bekuwumlungu orun iBacardi, yeah, it would have been, you need to be there at work. Umuntu I have a friend, right, who does a 9 to 5. He's always late for his gigs. I'm not gonna say who the friend is. It's quite famous. But Maya with 9 to 5, yeah, I send a 9 to 5 famous. But anyway, Maya 9 to 5
Stop it.
is never late. Hlale fika ngesikhathi. So it starts there, professionalism.
And you know what? To be quite honest with you, some people in the industry blatantly believe that their level of clout is worth some level of unprofessionalism. I kid you not. There are people who blatantly believe that my level of celebrity warrants me to be late. My level of celebrity warrants me to some level of lack of professionalism. And I don't understand it for the life of me.
That's why I always encourage artists to tell them before you start working with us, because this is the music business. Therefore, the music business, music industry. I see music party or whatever.
Hey, that's a
Go,
music party.
go work a 9 to 5, bro. Okay, don't go from tertiary besungena kule industry, because these are the people. That's why Tools is posting this. These are literally kids that went sometimes from high school or from tertiary wavele watsibela nje. They don't understand the concept of professionalism, because it's not taught in our industry. Professionalism is not taught. That's why everything is so haphazard. Next time kuzobe kuyimi obhala death of something, based on within the
Based on
music.
with it exactly
you know
within it's such a it's to be saying death of something when you're speaking from an
death of
internal
DJing.
yeah, it's very it's a throw of words, it's a careless use of words.
Yeah, but at the same time, I agree with the factor that you're good, like, even in at the death of DJing, because like well, everyone umuntu uyazingenela nje uvuka ekuseni.
Uyavuka, I want to be
I can
it's
afford
like
a
the death of
USB.
DJing.
Yeah,
I can afford
I
some
can afford a
headphones.
USB and a headphones.
Yeah, I
So,
can afford yeah.
and then you start going into it. You can see it with us with the music stuff. So now I'm expanding this. Ungitshele if I'm going out of
No, do what
context.
you gotta do.
So my thing is like it goes beyond just what Tool said. What Tool said should have opened up
A bigger
a
conversation.
broader. Are there enough managers? Are there enough artists that have a portfolio to present to them as Bacardi, or do they still have to go biopaga within the same vicinity as those unprofessional ones? You know, do we? Yeah,
I agree, and I think to also I think there's a lot of points, and maybe more, but you can jump in before we.
Mina, before mobs jump, I think, Mina, I wish, ne, before you jump in, ukuthi there was a school. Before you go in, you should get an entertainment license, guys. Uyabona?
Hey, dude, something that deems
Check
you.
a psychological.
Yeah,
There must be
correct.
those things. So that, because we don't know, maybe boya kwisikolo lapho and you can't even read the message kuthiwa kumele ube professional ufike nini. I don't know, whatever it is that's happening, it affects the whole chain.
It affects the whole chain.
There's a lot of, and someone calls themselves a manager.
Yeah,
Just because I know you doesn't mean you're my manager.
Yeah.
You know, so
mob.
All right, so I am just jumping on what Schwarz is saying. Schwarz doesn't know this, but for a long time I used to advocate. I'm just sorry for putting our business out there, Snash, but I used to say to Snash all the time, you need to go into the industry, right? I used to advocate for the 9 to 5, right? Because I started out as a freelancer doing this type of thing. Then I got into a corporate media house, right? And it's night and day. I realized how lost I was when I was freelancing, in that space. And not everyone is going to get an opportunity to go into a corporate environment. But this, like you said, is a music business. There are many ways to learn how the industry works.
Yep.
You just need to go out there and plug yourself. You just need to plug yourself into the correct, into the correct places on the correct spots. Diddy, for example, right? People don't like Diddy at the moment, but I'm just going to take a page. Diddy is famous for when he was in university. He used to go to Andre Harrell, had a record company back in the day. It should be Uptown, if I remember correctly. And this guy used to go every day, right? Wanting to either get a job or just to understand what was happening at this record company, right? By the time Bad Boy opens up, this dude understands the systems, he understands distribution, he understands splits, he understands, recording time, how to book an engineer, like the industry,
chain.
the value chain, right? Because one of the things that happens all the time, and it's on the two places where you see it happening the most, is firstly, we've spoken about this time and time again, artists being taken advantage of because they just don't understand the business, right? So they either get stolen from or don't understand that there's money that they're leaving on the table, right? Second one is this, the professionalism. Being in a corporate or business environment just teaches you certain things. Conducting yourself in a meeting, being on time, valuing other people's time.
Yes.
To your point, right?
Compromise.
To the question that you were asking just now, Sai, right? About time, right? When an artist doesn't appear at the time that they're meant to appear or doesn't appear at all, that is not only sending a message to their colleagues on a professional level, the bookers, the promoters, the venues, etc., right? There's that value chain. But it's almost saying, you, the 500 to 5,000 people that are in the venue, I don't
I
value
don't
your
care.
time. I don't
I
care,
don't care for you.
right? You might actually care and all of that stuff, but that's the message that's being sent across. And over time, you gain a bad reputation,
Yeah.
as talented as you are. And that's why they say sometimes talent is not enough.
It isn't.
There's all
It is
these other
not.
little, what you call it, there's all these other little pieces that are out there. So I advocate 100% what Schwarz is saying. Go and sit either in a anyway. There's so many places you can sit in the value chain. Events, you can sit in events, you can sit in venues, you can sit in record labels. There's so many things that are there that can teach you how this industry, what you call this, works.
I think that's true and not true, right? Because you won't imagine how many meetings I've gone to, perhaps in the industry, where, let's say, and the people who are hosting the meeting themselves, Apple, for instance, were late to the meeting. So I think that this thing of professionalism, because and your friend who said he works a 9 to 5, but he's always late to his sets. I think, like I said, that there's a mentality that we, as in the entertainment industry, are not enforcing and have deemed acceptable. Also, the moment, for instance, you show someone that, look, I don't care what your level of celebrity is, I am enforcing professionalism and you are going to follow it, then everybody will follow suit. We have not we are not in an industry whereby profession, because by the way, we they are I'm very professional. I'm sorry, no, I'm very professional.
Is it?
So there are people who are professional in the music industry and in the entertainment industry, not only because they value someone else's time, but because it's a level of respect that you are showing to somebody, but also you are showing that's the level of respect I want to receive in return. So I actually really think that it's not to say you need to go somewhere else to find professionalism. We need to enforce professionalism ourselves. We need I
I
kept
think
saying we don't have a music industry, but if everyone is trying to not create a music industry, we're not going to have
I
said
think
music industry. So at some point someone
I
needs to
think
bite the bullet, and we need to do these things.
let me just as a clarity point on my side. I'm not saying that being in a corporate or business environment is going to
yeah,
guarantee
we're not saying that.
professionalism.
Yes,
I think
okay.
it's
Let's
just
make that distinction.
understanding how the system works, because
What are the
I
pillars?
yeah, what are the pillars, of this industry? How do they work? That's the one thing. The second piece is, all of these inherent behaviors that we're talking about. I
Yeah.
agree with you 100% that the industry as a whole also needs to be enforcing some of these things on
We need to
their level,
tighten up.
on their level. If someone has a set time of 12, right? Maybe you can give some type of a grace period, and then you literally are like, listen, you came 30 minutes into your set, we've just taken you off the lineup, or
Period.
those types of things. There's
In fact,
ways,
they should announce.
right? There's ways, there's
They
ways.
should announce it at the event. Yo, I know you expected Mang Mang at this time,
Or
but
you
they're
get a fine.
late.
Yeah,
Or you get a fine.
yeah.
Something. Yeah.
So, and then you get to what you call this, you get to put those things in place. The last thing I'll just mention about this, and one of the reasons I advocate for it, is because when you're in that environment, once you've understood how the value chain works, you then understand where certain points of frustration are coming from. Because I've heard it on many instances where you're an artist, but you don't have a full sense of how corporate environments work, and then you get frustrated by maybe how slow a campaign happens when you are
Because you don't.
dealing with a
Yeah.
corporate. You have frustrations about, oh no, these guys aren't paying me my money, and what, not understanding that they're 30 day,
They 30
60
days,
day,
60
90
days,
day
yeah,
cycles,
yeah.
all of those little things, right? And understanding the fact that actually just because you spoke to, who knows, maybe the head of the label or the head of the company, that's not the person who's going to execute
Yeah.
this thing that you're talking about. Who are the the people that hold the relationships, who are the decision makers, who are the people that actually execute on the ground, you then understand that, this environment, because the misnomer is that so many creatives are trying to escape the business environment and corporate, but
Bafuna imali.
you as an entity, as a person, as an artist, are a business unto yourself. That's one. Two, where you're going to likely get the most money is from corporates. So understanding how this whole thing works, it's gonna help
It's gonna
you and
help
your
you at the end of the
money at
day.
the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, period.
I just don't understand
I
that
think
aspect.
I said something long ago. I was like, I've realized that not everybody is as ambitious enough to realize certain things for themselves. And
Ufunani ke?
yeah,
If you're on the fast lane, get out of the road ngebicycle lakho. We're on the highway. We're headed to
wait,
Cape Town or whatever. Why are you driving a bicycle on the? You're ruining our music industry. The reason why
exactly.
the music industry is in
It's
shambles.
in
I'm gonna
shambles,
say
dog.
it to the
It's
camera.
in shambles.
It's because of you guys, any eco professional, that don't take the time to go and actually sit down and be honest with yourself. Okay, be honest with yourself. Like, be a brand, because we want to work with brand. At the end of the day, I get disappointed because even with us releasing music, right? I often have to I find myself that I have to motivate a person to wake up to send me the music that they created. There's something wrong in that, because all I'm doing is I gave you a deal, I gave you an advance of
And a
sort
deadline.
and a deadline, but I have to motivate you, I have to massage you. Why? No, it's your business. If you respected your business enough, you would have submitted on time.
Yeah, Space said something once to me. He was like,
It's payable.
spectacular.
Yeah, say it
So
like
he
that.
was so you think they were working on a project, right? And so Spay is very business minded. Do you get me? So and the thing is they were working with a creative that you know how creatives are. You work when the creativity does come. But then he said,
Graphic design.
yeah, but he said something. He was like, there's a deadline and a deadline is a deadline. Business is business. So when there's a deadline, it's for the sake of the business, and you need to keep that in mind and remember that.
Dude,
I was like, you're
that
right.
is
I was like, even
so
though like in the creative industry, some things are set in place for the sake of business and for the sake of ensuring that certain frameworks come together.
right.
Yeah, but so I respected that. I really did, even though to be a creative, just speaking on the other side now, it's very difficult to be a creative because sometimes you need to wait for the creativity to flow. So sometimes it's difficult to let the deadline speak to you, but hey, sometimes you need to also bear in mind that you do have a deadline.
Okay, be creative, guys. Here's advice from me: be creative, right? Don't expect money then.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
There's a
let's
there's a movie called, what is it called? Syrup? Go watch Syrup. Have you seen Syrup?
Ngiayidla syrup, but
Go watch Syrup. Go watch Syrup.
Syrup.
Yeah. Go watch Syrup. What you said will open
if
your
you want to
mind
be
more.
creative,
Don't expect
upload your
money.
music lapha ku-YouTube mahala, kumahala ukudistributor. Hey, don't bother people, okay? Ungafuni imali. Don't put. You can put it on Spotify and
For
not care
free.
about
For the
whatever you
stream,
want to
not
do.
care about the streams.
One thing I know, right, is that it DistroKid, it charges you money,
Yeah.
or whoever is
Whoever you're destroying is
because they
distributing.
are professional.
Yeah.
Because
They're
Apple
running a
Music
business, dog.
is also that everything around you is running a business. So when hambi uyothenga ama-CD lapha emakuleni, then ume lapha estradini udlale, play.
Guys, there's nothing that I do. I take professionalism so seriously. Like I do. Even when I approach my own friends to do stuff for me, I expect them to run their business how they run their business, and I'm gonna respect it. And if I can meet your needs, or if I can't, I communicate that. Like if you say this is how much I need, and I find that I cannot meet your needs, I let you know I can't meet your needs, and I keep it there. Then you do with that information that you want. But if like the point is, I respect even my friend's business.
Snash, this thing, I like how you're putting it, because the commonality of what this guy wrote,
You said
right?
this, yeah.
Yiyo leyo, that's the foundation. That's why we don't have music industry. We don't have anything, because I can just wake up, download FL, Fruity Loops, in case you don't know what FL is, and then just put it on my computer. And then, I made a song. Boom, tip, 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 tip. Irrespective of which I'm a sample gabani, the kick, drum, what, then send it to a record label. The record label receives it, they listen to it, it gets flagged. They have to go through that admin when you release date, Jacob says, what? Now we have to clear that, but you don't get that aspect. Then the royalties come in, we cleared it, now we need to pay the original owner of the sample or the ziningi izinto.
Sounds like it's personal.
No, it isn't. It's factual.
It sounds like you're speaking from a personal place.
I'm not personal anymore because I've become my business. You get what I'm saying? And
like I'm saying, it sounds like you have a story behind that.
There's many stories. That
behind
others exist even on social media where artists are complaining about royalties. Bro, who's managing this aspect of that? As Mob said, it's a business. When you wake up in the morning, if your name is Snesip, you're no longer Snesip. You are Sai when you submit that work. Act in the best interests of that. Ngicela imali yogesi, mina ama-artist, ngicela imali yogesi, ngikhona ukulayita la. Where must the money come from? Then I give them the money, then umuntu, boza, ngicela ama-royalties. Ingoma yakhe yenze 500, contract itheni 1,000 rands, mawenze 1,000 and minimum, but wenze 500. And usekedlile le 500 because yes, every time by a time I need to call my wife. No, mfazi mari. Nengani, but do you see the disconnect? Like you have kids, you have responsibilities, but you're asking imali from another man. Bayina qinindeskele uphande mfondini asizela ngapha wena man, get out of the first lane.
I have something else to add on this one.
Sure.
And it's around what you call this. We've spoken about the 9 to 5 bit. We've spoken about being professional, etc. But in the pursuit of professionalism, just that whole thing, to what you're saying about becoming informed about your industry, the trade, the craft, etc. I really advocate for that. Either finding mentors, going and sitting in places, talking to people, or just reading online. There's a lot of content, even like the Side Sessions podcast, right? That talks about what you call this. That talks about these types of things, because the better informed you are, chances are the better you're actually going to be at identifying gaps, in the what you call this gaps in the market, right? So right now there's a lot of people in the music industry that are eating just from making jingles and soundtracks for movies, right? Because they understand that yes, you can be famous, but there's a lot of work that goes into productions. You could literally contribute to the songwriting or production of a song that is tied to a movie or something like that, and you're eating for a long time, right? And you don't need to be going out, because you can literally be song number 6 and 7 on a soundtrack, but you're good. Like, I've heard so many artists talking about how good the movie bag is, right? They never knew that there was this whole other avenue that's out there. Corporates are another one, right? Corporates are having events all the time. Some DJs, I have never ever heard of them in my life, but you see them at these events, right? And they'll be playing, they'll be
4 to 6
hours, right?
Which someone who's celebrity would say nah to do. But
Yeah. But that person can probably charge even at a premium, right? Because corporate budgets, okay, cool, sharp, here's your check. But those relationships, that's how you end up adverts and getting in touch with people that are doing what you call this, the music for games, for all of this stuff, all of these other random things where there's so many people that are eating. You've never ever heard of these people, but they're probably eating better than some of the well-known people. Yes, because they've gone and understood the game.
But we all want to be. I said this to
Everyone,
one of my
everybody
artists.
wants to be
I said this
famous.
to one of my artists. I said, you have the grades of like a speaker or a Duma Silera, but you're busy standing in line with these people. It's like you work this big job, right? And then when you choose to go for your Makulanyi Sasa, but you're a judge or you're a magistrate, like you're this. What are you doing, bro? You don't belong there. Remove yourself from such situations. Stop being desperate for fame. Fame destroys a lot of kids.
It does. It does.
Destroys.
There's to be fame. The road to fame is downhill, because if you chase fame, the moment, this is my view, the moment you shoot up, staying up is hard. The only way from up is down.
Ask Lil Wayne.
The only way from up is down, dog, and it's not a easy down. It's a
Because
gravity
bakhona
down.
labantu abawenzile bakubukele, they're like,
Yeah.
hey, umbonile ubani bani.
Chasing fame is, but it's okay to chase fame. I'm not against anyone who chases fame, but I think whatever you chase, you just need to know what you are chasing, and I think like it's like guys, just follow this pod. Actually, tell your friends to tell a friend to just follow this pod. Anyway.
The pod must be famous, not team.
Yeah, the pod must be famous. So the things, there are many things that people in certain positions don't tell you. People with certain statuses don't say to, especially in our industry, because they don't want to be that exposed. They don't want to be that transparent. They don't want to, do you get me? There's a lot of things that they do not tell you, that we can definitely tell you. So
The truths that you guys don't want to
the
hear.
truth that you don't want to hear.
And comment on the section and say whatever you want to say. But
Yeah, what do you
just
wanna
know
know
this:
also?
the answer, it won't be but in a glittery answer.
It won't be.
And
It don't be
guys-
glitz and glam,
Yeah,
dog.
because it's about time we fix it.
It's very important. I really think, like I keep saying, just it's very important for people to just watch this pod, because like we keep saying, we're gonna tell you, we're gonna give you straight up things that are not nice, that are not pleasant, that are not glitz and glam, but it's gonna be the reality, and at least it will equip you if you're, say you're in music, or you want to get into music. It'll equip you going forward, because we can't we need to look internally within ourselves to ensure that we ourselves build those frameworks that we want to see ourselves existing in the music and entertainment industry, because our industry is in shambles. It's 100% in shambles. I also think just the governing bodies of a lot of programs and a lot of places and a lot of spaces as well is in shambles. And Yongalanda futhi, we need to detangle. Yaqala kwi bedroom meetings. Detangle from bedroom meetings. That's because what the hell is a bedroom meeting? Do you know about bedroom meetings?
I don't know. I know pillow talk though.
What's pillow talk?
Namhlanje my day was like this.
Oh, that's normal. But bedroom meetings, does the
It's the same concept.
is it the same? Okay.
Imagine pillow talk, but there's actual transactions that are happening there.
Supposed business
Wakwangisendela
transactions.
imali.
Business transactions.
Business transaction.
I will
Jeez.
put you
Oh,
on.
couch what? This
Yeah, couch
interview vibes.
couch business. I don't know. I'll do this for you if you do this for me.
Well, again, it goes back to your morals as an individual.
If you say no, then you don't get anything.
Then create it. I think we should have those things where
Then create it.
we should also, as much as those guys have the opportunities, right? Dude, something that keeps baffling me. There's so many of us abantu abamnyama la in South Africa, but we're always complaining about ukuthi abelungu abasibhekeli. Therefore, we'll rob them and all that. But we can create. We're very good creators.
No, we are.
So this ecosystem, if we can start building smaller ecosystems, I suppose these are good ideas. But I'm giving you game here, so you can use it or just toss it out the window. These smaller initiatives like this one, these self-funded ones, like if you want to be on a podcast, you don't necessarily need to be famous or have 60 million views, which is the standard, which is a Western standard. If you have something to say that's proper and that will change or revolutionize, you can come sit here with us, for instance, right? So such ideas, we need to find ways in which we can support each other, not necessarily saying what's mal, but support each other, because those are going to form pillars and the basic foundations.
100%.
And then we can lead you into professionalism. I think also be open-minded to learning, because about 60% of artists that I've worked with are not willing to
To
learn.
learn, yeah.
They think they're willing to learn,
Yeah.
but they're not, because they're so rooted in their hurt. There's everything that's personal.
But and also, like you said, Guti, when you said earlier, you said we might as well say death of the industry, or death of Amapiano, because it's not Amapiano, of DJ, because someone can just wake up tomorrow and decide that there's a certain thing that they want to do without taking into account that there's frameworks, there's systems, and there's a way to do certain things.
Yes.
I think also because we've made it so normal, we've normalized this shambled state of our industry, that we are allowing certain things to happen.
Right.
We are allowing the level of your celebrity determine your professionalism.
Yes.
We allow your level of celebrity to treat people a weird way. So
A friend of mine said that. He says, "Le ntwana lezi," and this is a business guy, right?
Yeah, le ntwana.
He's just watching this. He's like, the reason why kukhona ama artists, and I won't mention names, but ama artists la jiva stage in Abo Cherry, then they DJ, then they're going overseas, is because artists, right, don't want to play the game. As an artist, you want to be specific, you want to be niche, you want to be that, you want to be this.
Yeah.
All these ideologies that exist in your brain, right? Tina, we're the funders. We're giving you money. We're the ones that are booking those shows overseas. You need to listen to us. Njengasemsebenzini, to your 9 to 5. A lot of artists just exist in this. I don't know. They want to be the boss. They want to be the CEO. They want to be. You want to be all. You want to be your own financer.
Yeah.
We give you money. You're telling us how to run. What are we business here? We've commandeered you. We've commandeered your brand. Like, that's why now everything is in shambles. That's why kuna teach about Jaiva is staging, and not the talented individuals. Because the talented individuals might be too stubborn.
yeah, they are. They too
work with.
purist.
Yeah.
They
The sound and
too
funny.
purist. This
Or-
ish.
If you know you need to, this is business. Your brand is a business.
Yeah.
Please, guys.
But I also
I beg you.
it is your brand. Your
Yeah.
brand is a business, and sometimes it's very tricky to be like
Yeah.
to be that business, because sometimes some of the things that a record label may want from you, you may not
may
be
not
willing
be,
to do also. So and I'm one person who believes in do what you want to do what makes you happy, and be
of
true
thought,
to
yeah.
yourself as well.
Yeah. To
But
identity as
yeah,
well.
to your identity. But sometimes you do, like, to get certain things done, you kind of do need to play the long game. And sometimes a long game means ish being someone's boot for a little bit, or saying yes to things you don't want to say yes
It
to.
happens from time to time.
Yeah, like you just need to play the long game. It's a tricky thing. It's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky, dog. Like, it's so tricky.
I get it. When you speak of it like this, it makes a lot more sense. I think it's just small things that we need to work on. Well, there are small things that become these big, gigantinomous things, Hence, we end up in situations like these, whereby the whole ecosystem is damaged because we think too much instead of acting. Sebenza funding. Okay.
Dude, so speak on that note, actually, like on the note of, because I was just thinking as we're talking about podcasts also, and what podcasts people follow and what podcasts people listen to, and since we're also like a podcasting a platform, Mob sent something recently to me about MultiChoice signing some like 8 podcasts. Let me
Yeah.
actually see which shows. 3 of them
I
apparently
saw
belong to
that.
McGee.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I think it's dope because, again, like, that's us now. Like, and I'm gonna group everyone. This gives more attention to us, and we can get more buyers into this space that we exist in. So MultiChoice is now invested in those guys, right?
Yeah, I think any setting where you have the leverage is a good thing.
Yep.
Because they had the leverage,
Yep.
and MultiChoice
Advertising.
came to them. But it's like people are also wondering how they see this happening. For instance, on these platforms, we can do and say whatever we want to say, dude. But on public broadcasting platforms, you cannot.
I suppose they'll come to an agreement, but as I
Yeah.
said, the funder dictates, what how the business is conducted. Hence the time slots that they're gonna get. I don't think
Do you know?
I heard. I was watching their pod and I was like,
Oh, you
"This is
watched
so
it
sick."
already?
Yeah,
Where?
it what they were talking about. They announced it
On
actually
the
on
podcast.
their
On their
podcast.
podcast.
Yeah,
Make sure you on
I was
podcast and
happy. I
chill.
was like, yeah, because my
And
bands
those
are
people are
so
not stupid, by the way. Those are pretty
no, they're
smart
not
people. So if they do a licensing deal,
to
it's a
get.
lucrative
It's
licensing
lucrative.
deal that they're gonna do for them. That they're gonna do.
I like what you say because it goes back also to the professionalism
Yeah.
aspect of it. Those guys don't just sit
They
there
didn't
and
just
record.
sign a contract. Also,
Yeah, there's people involved there. It's an ecosystem. Le nto yale mfana. There's people abe sound, like
with
this.
the sound, there's the
So
on-air
kune
people, there's the
balance sheet
camera
again,
people.
guys. Professionalism. Use McJ as an example, or use
Jonga.
us, guys. Kube ne balance sheet. Kube nama salary. Kube nani. Kube nema tax. Yonke into.
Those people are not stupid.
Right.
Like, because I think a lot of people feel they're like sad. They're not sad. They're empathetic. They're like, dude, are we gonna get the same content? But those people are not stupid.
Yeah.
For them to sign that deal, they had to know what they're doing, and it's
Experience.
gonna be and it's a lucrative deal, and it's a deal for them because for them to say, look, we're on the internet, we can do whatever we want, we get a certain amount of money, so you kind of need to beat those odds. You kind of need to come with something better if you're a broadcasting platform, especially if you're telling us to come to a platform where we're going to be now censored. So, which means we're not going to get as much viewership as we want. They're not stupid. My guess is they did a licensing deal. Obviously, it's not a full round 360 type of licensing deal. It's a licensing deal where perhaps they will release the content on TV first, and that will be the edited version, and then the full version will come after it comes out on TV online. That's my guess.
That would be super sick.
That's
Either
my
way,
guess.
man, like I think it's a sick initiative, and that's just the first of many channels to
Yeah.
do that. Who knows tomorrow? What is this?
MultiChoice needs this. Let's be honest.
Why are you putting multi-choice? I'm trying to say what I'm
MultiChoice
trying to say without
needs this.
going there because who pays for DSTV? Say YouTube. Ufunani lapho? Okay, we'll see the ads, but we're on YouTube.
They need this.
Jeez, it's insane. So yeah, I guess at the end of the day, in closing, what I would like to say is, again, professionalism has its own rewards. If that guy didn't get fired from a radio station, when I said, what lapping radio career?
I tried getting on radio in Joburg, but it was maybe Mhlambi I didn't try hard enough. Let me put responsibility on
couch
myself
meetings.
and say that
You didn't attend enough bedroom
maybe I
meetings.
didn't attend and I didn't say yes.
must-
I didn't say yes
must,
to the bedroom meetings.
Yeah, you must.
So
that-
I put the responsibility on myself because I don't believe that anyone can tell me or dictates my direction. So I will put on myself and say maybe I didn't try hard enough. But as soon as I got to Joburg, I thought it would be a smoother transition to get into radio in Joburg. But I soon found out that, oh my goodness,
There's a lot of red
there's
tape,
a lot of red tape.
gatekeeping.
There's a lot of gatekeeping, 100%. A lot of red tape, a lot of gatekeeping. A lot of people that don't want to see you in certain spaces because they would they just don't want to see you in certain spaces because you probably went over them.
But you pretty
Because
privileges.
I won't say yes to it because of that. So and then I was just like, that's not gonna stop me.
Yeah, we're
that's
still
not
gonna
gonna
do
stop
this.
me. Yeah, I'm still gonna do this, and I'm going to release an online radio show, an online radio station. That's what I want to do.
We are. I'm the eye in the sun.
That's where that went. But just to close off, let's just state. You know how we did like disclaimers last time on the last episode on the friend that just so now when it comes to certain things that we feel like people are get to expect in terms of professionalism, or in terms of professionalism in terms of, from the artist, things that they, let me say, are not what's the word now, that they are not entitled, for the lack of a better word,
Okay.
for, what could those things be? So for instance, if one, you are an entertainer. If one, you are an entertainer, we say, if you are entertaining and you're releasing art for consumption and people are consuming it, one, the expectation is that people are going to come for you. That's the game. That they're going to be your fans, that they're going to expect you to be available for them. And sometimes you just need to be okay with it. That's one of the things. We also, another thing, need to, because I'm just want us to wrap up the key points from the
Discussions,
episode. Yeah. So, and another thing is, people, us ourselves in the industry need to create an example of what kind of professional frameworks we see being put in place. Like, if you're late for your set, for instance, we need to do something about that. Kick that person's ass out. Like, if they don't have a good enough reason to be late to a set, and if they're constantly late, there's like, let's think of something that we can impose, to standardize, or at least for us to create to facilitate a more professional work setting. But, well, I'm always willing to learn now, personally.
Yeah.
If there's anything, I'm always willing to learn, to be honest with you. So I ask a lot of questions, and everyone that comes on the pod as well, my intention is always to learn from them.
Yeah, and also let's stop having expectations of people to be professional. You can't expect someone to be professional engayazi nokuthi professional
Nobody
ispellwa
don't.
kanjani, even if it's written in big letters, njengo-size sessions na, uthi professionalism. Stop using that word. Not everyone understands what professionalism is. You know, there's a gap, as Mob said. Let's open a school, guys. These people
Yeah,
that
let's
have
open a
these guys that
school.
have these DJing schools, right? You know what? Introduce it. I'm giving them tips here.
That's a good tip.
Introduce it
As a course.
right, as a partial course that you do before. Even the ones that teach production, you know, Soul Candy does, but I don't know to what extent. Because a friend of mine used to work there, actually, the same guy that lectured me, like, but from Yabo, with Clive Bean, used to say the same
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Ukuthi, like, dude, we throw these things at these kids and we expect them to live according to the way
They
we want them.
don't.
They don't know.
That's the
Abazi,
problem.
abazi,
Abanye
abazi.
abafuni lwazi. Like, some people don't want to.
Lwazi.
King Schwaz. King. Abanye abantu abafuni, they don't want to. They don't want to learn because they feel like they're the best thing to ever happen since bread. Abanye, they just don't want to learn these things because they just feel.
Then you don't get your license.
Then you don't get your license.
Yeah, you must have a license to be an entertainer. Bhatala tax, kube medical aid,
Yo.
kube nayo. You know, we should be saying I mean, we travel, right? You go, you play, it's London deep.
Maybe health insurance to travel.
Incentivize for your flights.
Then people need to pay us what they owe. What would pay us our
I
rate?
can't expect them to
Pay us our rate, though.
If you don't, now good tools. If you don't show up on time, how can I pay you your rate?
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but yeah,
tit for tat, butter for fat.
I want to say something before we close. We have a new location sponsor, and I need to at least say something and say thank you.
Yiyo leyo kubhalwe strata.
Ew. Don't say where it is now. You want people to come and look for us?
No, ndithe igama lestrata.
Yeah, igama lestrata. I just want to send a quick thank you actually to Pop In for giving us our shooting location. Because what they do is they have Airbnbs, Moss, on their website, popin.co.za. It's POPPIN.co.za. So they've decided to sponsor our location. See, guys, at least someone is giving us something.
Professionalism.
Something. So manje siya subscribe and sicela imali. If you're watching this and you feel you can give.
Yeah, let us fakani imali nizobona.
Fakani imali nizobona.
Better content.
Better, yeah.
We're not gonna go interview the famous people. Sukushaya ngabantu industry specific specialist.
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 That's what we do here.
100%. So I think that's a great place to sign off. Yeah, okay, cool. Now, this was the Side Sessions. Don't forget to subscribe. We are online, sidesessions.africa and Side Sessions ZA on every social media platform. Check us out. Otherwise, for now, we are signing out.
Exit. Drops the mic.
Exit. Exit. Exit.
I'd like to send a shout out